joined by political analyst Victor Kgomoeswana. He's also the author of Africa is Open for Business. Victor, good morning.
Morning.
And thanks for your time this morning. Now, just listening to what Aldrin had to say there, and I suppose the question now is, the MDC, if they really want to prove that they have the best interests of Zimbabweans at heart, should they accept some sort of working relationship and try and form that with Emmerson Mnangagwa? They
don't have a choice. They did not have a choice. The minute they lost the election, the presidential election, you remember we talked about this on this very forum, and I said this Nelson Chamisa is being unpresidential. I meant exactly things like this. You get a constitutional court ruling. After you had gone and said we will accept the outcome of the constitutional court ruling, you then say, well, I don't accept this, and I want to go to the African Union Commission. Well, the chairman of the African Union, President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, was at the inauguration of Emmerson Mnangagwa. Now, who are you going to talk to? So he's going to take down the MDC alliance with him if he doesn't start acting like the leader of opposition. He should be a formidable force. And you can't be a formidable force by throwing your toys. Right now, he's throwing his toys. And the funny thing is, life is going to go on.
So Emmerson Mnangagwa, and let's look now at at the task ahead for him, Victor, and it's a mammoth one. We know that, and we're talking unity. But how will you bring about unity? How could he possibly, if you have this opposition that absolutely won't accept this also? It's not going to make it easy for him.
Remember that we're talking presidential elections. That's where the dispute was. The parliamentary elections, MDC lost. They have a 2/3 majority, the ZANU-PF. So it means decisions of government are going to be taken at that forum. They won't be having much to say. Anyway, they have far too few seats to make. I would have thought that he would have made a move to make sure that he accepts that, because he's going to have to work as opposition. President Mnangagwa's speech yesterday, I listened very intently to. It sounds like a man who understands what he needs to do. He talked about tomorrow being brighter than yesterday. He talked about no tolerance for corruption and bureaucratic red tape. And he talked about leaders having to deliver. And he also talked about devolving power to the provinces so that they can start planning their own economy. He talks about reviving the economy of Zimbabwe. He has already moved, remember, since November.
Months,
But now, most of all, he's saying, I'm your president. I'm not the president of people of ZANU-PF or those who voted for me. Now, do you have a choice, if you are the leader of MDC Alliance, to stay out of that? I think he's going to do the right things if he goes by the speech he made. But of course, in real life, things turn out a little differently. But I'm very confident that although I didn't look to a 70-something-year-old leading Zimbabwe, it looks like they might just have something in Emmerson Mnangagwa to rebuild this first government after Robert Mugabe.
Now, the murmurings will always be in the background about the role of the military, and will they still be the driving force behind this? And so if he were to sort of put pay to those fears or those suspicions, this cabinet that he's expected to announce this week, who would be the best people? I mean, what would you like to see that cabinet made up of, and just the path ahead to actually dispelling whatever it is about the military's role in all of this going forward now?
More generational mix. Zimbabwe is getting younger and younger every day. There are younger Zimbabweans who have come from all over the world who had a choice of being elsewhere. I think his cabinet needs a lot more people who will appeal to that younger generation, because they're going to be younger and younger people. G40, I think Aldrin mentioned it. The G40, the people who are the people like Xavier Kasukuwere, I don't know if he's the man to bring in, but you want ministers like those who will assuage the fears of people that you're going to be a military. After all, you saw the military yesterday, the fervor with which they were saluting their president. At the same time, he needs to retain them. But remember, military people are very professional if it comes to defending their country. They're not going to be interested in politics as long as you don't do what President Mugabe did, marginalizing them openly by bringing a non-military person to take over. And
would you give him a time frame? Would you say, I mean, like you say, he's already started doing work. I mean, the past couple of months, we already know he's opened doors that were sort of tightly shut during the Mugabe regime. When would you like to see, what would be a fair sort of time or deadline to give Emmerson Mnangagwa to say, yes, you made these promises, we're starting to see now that you are
I would like to see him make unpopular decisions now when he's still popular, because he's going to have a window of about 3 months. I want to use an example of Ethiopia. Abiy Ahmed, 41-year-old, came into power. In the first 100 days, he made so many changes that people were scared and saying, you're going too fast. I would like to see him do that. If he said he's not going to tolerate corruption, if he said he's not going to tolerate sloth, and laziness. He's not going to have bureaucratic red tape. I want him to go to the Zimbabwe Confederation of Industries and say, what do you want us to do to open the business world? I want him to go to the investors and saying, what are the things that you want resolved? I want him going to the farmers and saying, I want to recover to be the breadbasket that we used to be. What do you